What's going on, family? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay? We talking about somebody who represents the West, 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 West. All right? One and only. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop legend. Ice Kiss You. Q Vision. All right? We're really going to get into this. Sorry about the delay. You know what I mean? Have a lot of family stuff going on. You know what I mean? But I'm about to get right into this, man. We're about to get really right into this, man. I'm not going to waste no time. I'm not going to play no games. You know what I mean? And let me take a course for the poor. See you up in the check-in already. You know what I mean? Salute to Brother Daryl Long. He said, yes, he is. Salute to Daryl Long. Salute, salute, salute. You know what I mean? Also, salute to Sister Chocolate. You know what I mean? Salute, salute. You know what I mean? Definitely. Anybody welcome to come up here? Y'all see the link. It's pinned. All right? Because we about to really get into this. All right? I'm about to play some videos. We about to react to them. We about to really get into this for real. All right? I've been waiting to do this topic since this weekend. I'm really ready for this, man. Just like I said, I apologize for the delay. Let's get it. Salute to M3. You know what I mean? M3 to Dawn. What up, baby? You know what I'm saying? Man, Ice Cube is a pioneer, man. We know this. We know that he's a pioneer. We know that he's been doing hip hop since the 80s. You know what I mean? He's definitely been representing for the culture, man. You know, in the right way. A lot of people say they represent for us, but do they represent in the right way? That's the question. You know what I mean? And that's always the question when we look at these public figures. Are they representing us in the right way? Are they just doing things just to make money? Are they just doing things just to chase clout? Are they just doing things just to fill their pockets? You know what I mean? Or to satisfy their own bottom line. Why are they doing what they're doing? You know what I mean? But Ice Cube has always represented. He ain't never been a phony. He ain't never been a sucker. He always been about our people, man. Straight up and straight down. You know, some people may have controversial views on him. You know what I mean? But some people may think that he's not for the people or whatever, or that he may pump negativity. But I think the brother is for our people, if you ask me, in my honest opinion. I think he's really for our people. I think he stands on that. He doesn't back down. You know what I'm saying? And remember, man, Ice Cube has faced a lot of scrutiny, man. Remember, you know, back in the day, Oprah ain't wanted him on the show and all that. You know, Oprah was being a hater. Why? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yet, you see, as she was being a hater, you see how life just kind of, you know, corrected itself as a universe, and the deities always do. You know what I'm saying? You've seen that as that happened, boom, she's targeted as she's walking through shopping. You know what I mean? So we all get our Negro wake-up call if we're not aware. I'm going to say it again. We all get our Negro wake-up call when we are not aware. We think everything's cool and racism doesn't affect me and all this other BS. We get our wake-up call. And a lot of times we're not ready for that wake-up call, man. I'm telling you, a lot of people are not ready for it. You know what I'm saying? They're sleeping. They're delusional. They think that it doesn't affect them or that's not going to affect them at all. And let me tell you something. It will. And it does. You can keep sleeping and thinking that it don't affect you, but eventually it's going to catch you. Now, I mean, when it catch up to you, when you get pulled over, okay, when you get something sprayed on your home that says a racist terminology, like our brother LeBron James, unfortunately, different things will happen to you to make you realize and wake up that you are not special, okay? You are not special, and you are not, you know, you are not going to avoid it. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care where you live. I don't care what you do. You're going to get your Negro wake-up call. It's going to happen to you. It didn't happen to the best of them. Why ain't going to happen to you? What, you think you're going to escape it? This is systematic, man. We're going on for centuries, and it's not going to stop, okay? It's not going to stop until we do what we have to do to make it stop, man. You know what I mean? That's straight up and straight down. You know what I mean? We keep thinking that these people are our friends or that they like us or whatever. Look, man, ain't nobody your friend. All right? You know what I mean? Wake up. Stop sleeping and wake up, man. It's time to wake up. But let me stop, you know, let me stop even just keep talking about it, man. I'm gonna let Ice Cube speak for himself, as I always love to do. Okay, when I drop these videos, I like to hear people speak for themselves, man. All right? I'm not going to have it where I'm just rambling and talking. I'm going to speak for myself. So let me pull up the videos, man. Let me drop my fair use as always, right? Let's get that out the way, okay? From a little fair use banner. Know it's up in here somewhere. Got it. Boom. Okay. me start sharing my screen so y'all can see what I see. Okay. All right, and we gonna find out why he being targeted. What's making him being targeted, and who's targeting him, and what kind of brought this about? Because it's happening for a reason. It ain't just happening out of nowhere. This happening for a reason. All right. Let me make the screen bigger. Okay.
Yo, what's cracking?
Let's get it.
You know what it is. It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what? Who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since...
Let me pause it right there because they're always saying, who you talking about? Who is that? Who could it be? And even Ice Cube said, come on, man, stop playing. Y'all always out here playing, and Ice Cube himself is telling y'all, stop playing. Y'all sit up here, y'all do all these stupid, beefing streams and men versus women streams, all this bullshit that y'all be doing. And even Ice Cube himself, who got way more money than all y'all, is telling y'all, look, man, stop playing. Y'all out here playing, man. Stop playing. Vision. I want Q Vision to hit y'all with some more. Hit him a little bit more, all right? We ain't done yet. Let's get it.
Ever since I put out the contract with Black America, they've been fucking with me. Here and there, this and that. But it's cool, I expect that. I've been working with, on the big three for a long time. And you know how they've been fucking with me with that. I done made it, plain, simple, and clear what they've been doing. The NBA been fucking with us. Now, a lot of people might say, like, well, but Cube, you want to work with the NBA. Really, I don't give a fuck about working with the NBA. What I want them to do, when I say work with us, is to stop working against us. Stop doing that bullshit behind the scenes that we know you're doing. Mainstream media, they ain't fucking with us. And that's cool. We can do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We still on the rise without these motherfuckers. So we don't need them, you don't need them. So what am I gonna do?
And that's pivotal what he said right there. I don't need them and you don't need them either. Stop relying on these people. Stop looking for them to save you or to help you or whatever. You don't need them. You don't need them. But you want them to be a part of what you're doing. That's really the problem of it all. You want their acceptance. Stop looking for their acceptance. They're never gonna accept you. Period. All right? This man been making money since the 80s. They still won't accept him, and they're not gonna accept you. Foolio? Like my uncle used to say back in the day. Damn. Let's go, Cube.
To deal with these motherfucking gatekeepers. Well, what I'm gonna do is go on a Fuck the Gatekeepers podcast tour. And I'm gonna go talk to everybody, and get a chance to get my message out to the people. be able to let people hear from me, you know. And you know, you might agree, you might not, but the important thing is, you know, for me to go on these platforms, say what I feel. About what I think. And, you know, some people may get pissed off because I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm not playing. And it's gonna be a crazy summer. It's gonna be fun. Appreciate y'all. Always support the Big Three. Hopefully I'm doing stuff that you guys dig. You know, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for people that's bored as fuck in the summer with summer sports and want something cool like the Big Three. So here we are. Appreciate you. Much love, much respect from your homeboy Ice Cube. Remember that.
Thank you, Mr. Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Chocolate Earth says, get a cube. That's right. And Chocolate Earth says, if you come up, man. I definitely want to hear you react to all these different things that we're getting into. About to get into another video. All right. About to get into that Tucker Carlson interview. All right. We're about to really get into this, okay? Because he's exposing something that a lot of people do not want to expose. He's talking about something that people do not want to talk about. You know what I mean? They want to avoid it. They want to make excuses. And Ice Cube is saying, nah, no more excuses. Stop playing. You know what I mean? Let's really deal with what's really going on out here. You see the gatekeepers. You see what they're doing. You see how they're taking away opportunity. You see how they're affecting the community. It's time to get into it. No more of the games. No more of the coon shit. You know what I mean? Saturday afternoon cartoon shit. We really get into it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I like how Cube just was simply direct and straight to the point. No BS. This is what's going on. Y'all know what's going on. Let's stop the BS. And that's what we got to do. We got to be direct when we're facing opposition. You know what I mean? When we're facing opposition that's trying to take us out. You know what I mean? That's worthy. You know, that's a worthy opponent. Because some opponents ain't worthy. Some people, they blab and they talk and they say they're against you. And you don't even got to pay them no mind because they ain't doing nothing anyway. Just to be honest with you. But some people, you know, when it's a worthy opponent or they can really stop your traction, you know, you may want to respond or you may want to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? In a way that's gonna not completely affect you and make you still be in a good light and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Know how to move in a room full of vultures. You feel me? So I'm gonna get into the Tucker Carlson interview. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna waste no time and really get into it. You know, I'm gonna pause when I want to make some points, and I'm gonna keep it pushing when I want to keep it pushing. Y'all welcome to come up and react with me. Y'all know what it is. Let me share my screen. All right. Get this popping. Okay. Here we go. Make this bigger.
So why would you be doing this of all interviews? I mean, you could do an interview with anyone. You're doing an interview with me. Obviously, you're going to take abuse for doing that. Like, why would you do that?
Because I think it's silly not to talk to people. I think whether we agree or not,
right?
That has nothing to do with it. You know, it's like this is what it's all about. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. And you know, I've been shut out.
That sounds like right-wing extremism and what aboutism?
What? But I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that.
Boom! What up, Simon?
What up? What up?
What you think? So get into it. We're not playing today. You know what I mean? Ice Cube told him stop playing. We tell him to stop playing. Let's go. What you got to say?
I think you know, Ice Cube's a smart dude. Like this is one of the NWA like originals. Like, and I'm not even talking like the 4 members that you saw. Like, I'm talking about the originals. There was like 12 of them, like in NWA originally. This is not a guy that doesn't know how to like navigate the media. Yo, he brought his son into his movie, bro. So when this is going down, he's playing that role. You know, it's something that needs to be navigated. And obviously he's linked into certain people, so he's bringing it to the people in a certain type of way, but it ain't going to come across just overnight. So when you see him doing them interviews and he's speaking in a certain type of way, he even brought it to like, you know, the upper realms. Do you get what I mean? And presented it to them on paper, document form. You know, that's not something that just happens. You know, so he knows what's going down. It's interesting to see what plays out, but at the same time, I think people don't understand what his whole objective is, because he's serious. I think he's serious as a motherfucker, to be real. In terms of being targeted, obviously you're going to be targeted in any sort of thing you're doing that's serious, because you know what the threat is. It's the nature of the threat. So it's just like, okay, cool. And what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes you need to, you know, throw something at somebody to make them feel a bit comfortable so that you could get the information that you need to move forward. And I think that's the game he's playing. But thank you for having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
Definitely, Simon. You're welcome for coming up, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for sharing your perspective. We're going to keep getting into this video. Let's get it.
I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, you know, I'm an outsider. And so, you know, I'm not part of the club.
You see what you're saying there?
I have to go places from one.
That's what he's saying. That's what I was speaking about. You know, when you're not part of the herd, you see things from a completely different perspective, and most people don't see shit like that. But yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to like interrupt. I'm just saying.
No. That's what we do. It's a reaction video. So whenever you want to react, just tell me to pause, or just tell me to stop the video, and I'm gonna pause and you say your point. But that is definitely a big point right there. He's letting people know that, look, I'm not part of the norm. I'm not part of that club, and this is why they target me and they want to control me. It's about controlling people. You understand? These clubs and these people that's in part of influence, they want to control you. They want to control your image. They want to control what you talk about. They want to control who you be around. They want to control you. And if you allow them to control you, they will. They're going to control everything that you do. And to the point that until you're not here, until you delete it and you ain't here. And Ice Cube ain't putting up with that shit. Man, let's keep getting into it, man. Let's go.
And I'm welcome. Yeah. And where I can voice my opinion without somebody, you know, saying I'm a bad person and that they never want to have me on their platform again.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So
I could totally relate to this shit. That's what happens, man. That's what happens. It's like, yo, if people on the internet think you're getting banned and clicked and doxed, you ain't seen shit. Like that's like for real. Like when you're dealing with the higher epilogue, it's just like, ooh, because it becomes everything in your life. Do you get what I'm saying? So then you get used to that shit, and that's a completely different ball game. But sorry, bro.
You good, because I want to speak on this too. You know what I mean? As you see, even somebody of himself who's of high esteem, who's really a high value man. This is a real high value man. Not that goofy shit you see on the internet. There's a real high value man right here, right? A real high value man is being targeted. You know what I mean? He's being told that he can't be in another place of high esteem. They don't even want him as a guest. They don't even want to feature him. And he's a legend in his field. He's acclaimed. He's won awards. He's gotten money. He's made films. He's documented what he's done. Okay, and it can't be taken away from him. And they still don't want to give him his acknowledgement or show him love as a legend in the hip hop field. Even though he's earned that right, and he's earned the stripes. Simon, he earned that right. He earned the stripes. You know what I'm saying? They still don't want him to be a part of their show. That's crazy. All because he has a different perspective. Because, like I said, it's about control. Go ahead, Simon.
I don't really think it's all about control. I'm gonna say something quite controversial right now, but when it boils down to it, it's because he's black. That's the main factor. It's really because it don't matter what you do, and I think this is what Ice Cube is putting out there, like in his overall message. I've been to the top of the mountain, bro. I've done everything that you guys are trying to achieve, like. Even like these 21st Gen X's and whatever, you can try and achieve it. I'm here. I'm showing you I'm here. This is my face. I've had my children. I've had my family. I'm successful. And yet they're still blocking me. What does that tell you? That should tell you something. That should really tell you something in terms of what is actually going on out there. Because he can't just come on, he's not going to come on like the channel or the video and start whining out and going la 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 la. He knows what it is, but it's so difficult like to communicate that shit to the people in terms of like going, okay, this is what I've had to deal with. Now you've seen my whole life, you've seen my children, you've seen everything I've done. Like I've got everything and this, that, whatnot, and whoop de whoop. But it's like still they're blocking me. That's terrible. But that's life. I could vouch for that shit.
Man, and it is because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I like how Simon just said, hey, man, it's happening because he's black. He just kept it G right there. And yeah, that is part of the reason as well. Yes, it is. All right. You know what I mean? Like the first video I played, he said, y'all always acting like y'all don't know who they are. Stop playing, man. Cube is telling y'all to stop playing. I'm not just saying it. All right. Somebody who's actually high value is saying this. Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna have the real people who are really high value speak to y'all. I'm gonna show their videos. We're gonna react to it. All right. And we gonna really, really change all this old bullshit that y'all got going on social media about there not being racism, about it not being social oppression, all the shit that y'all saying. We're gonna have the real people who really are making money out here. Right? We're gonna have them speak. You know what I mean? Instead of y'all speaking. All right. So let's keep it going, man. Let me keep going.
Or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but
you'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been
I hate the way they do this on these interviews, bro. I hate it. Like, I swear to God, like, they are crazy. Yo, this is you're dealing with a nigga that was like on Boys in the Hood, right? John Singleton turned around to him and said, "Yo, Cube, like the fact of the matter is like you're gonna have to produce your next movie because no one else is gonna produce a movie that's starring you again. I'm a black dude. I'll put you on, right? You only got one shot over here because I've only got one shot. I don't know if I'm gonna get another budget." This is a dude that walked into Platinum, right? Wrecked the shit up. Post NWA. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is a dude that has been through the ups and downs, written scripts, delivered barbershop and everything to the people, giving you that growth and understanding of what it is to actually, you know, be something in terms of media. And people still can't even clock what's going on. Do you get what I mean? This guy is fulfilled. He's way up there. When you talk about high value, he's way over value. Overvalue. That's the next term we should start using. It's like overvalue. Like, goddamn. This is this is a guy that's living on planet Earth that we should breathe this stuff from, because he's still alive when they've taken out so many of our brothers and sisters. Do you understand? Like, so the way we're viewing this is like, okay, this guy is sat opposite this pale dude who has been privileged. And he's doing the same 60-second interview with this brother who is able to actually counter his questions in a very sort of like educational and informative way. And we need to really understand what the hell's going on here. Check the questions, because they do this all day long to our brothers, and any brother that's up and coming needs to check this shit, because that's what you're gonna go through. I remember when I was doing them type of interviews, there was, oh yeah, MTV, blah blah blah, and they pulled me into a room and they started busting them damn questions on me, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Like, I didn't even know I was in here for this. You get what I'm saying? As a young cat, but it's just like as you get a bit older, I was just like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
Okay, yo, Simon, I'm glad you shared that, man, because they definitely will try to test you with the questions and the rhetoric of the questions as well. We got a lady in the room. We got Sister Chocolate. Sister Chocolate, I know you've been watching for a little minute. Build on it, sister. Yeah. Salute to you as well.
Salute, Simon. Salute to you. Of course, I was coming to support.
What's up, Chocolate?
You always come and support me. So, and this is like one of my favorite rappers in the world. I was a West Coast girl before anything. Like, that was my hip hop journey. Was West Coast. I didn't get into East Coast rap until like I was older. But you know, I heard about the interview with him and Tucker Carlson, and you know, it makes me think of, you know, when he was speaking out about what Black people should do and things like that. And like I said, I think what he's doing is great. He's doing what he's doing from his level. I can't expect that man to do any more than not. He's showing that he's human. He's showing that he's more than the money he's made or the experiences that he's had, that you can still be human and still have all those things. And that's one thing I respect about him as a person. You know, he's versatile. He's showing that he has many sides. I remember when the movie Are We There Yet came out, and, you know, it didn't fare well with a lot of Black people because they were like, oh, well, you doing just like white folks and da-da-da-da. But hold on, don't we have families too? Not all of us live, you know, in this type of situation. There are stepfathers. There are, you know, people who live different lives every day, but yet and still we act like we're still a monolith. And I think that's where, when it comes to the statement of being in the club, no, he's not going to be in a club. He's going to be outcast. in a way that some people, just like on this platform, let's even bring it down to the simpler form of that. So you've got on this higher level, right? He's considered on a higher level than than us, so to speak. He's doing it from his view, right? He's not showing up in the hood talking about, oh, we're gonna do da 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 like Jay-Z did, but I ain't gonna be petty. So, he actually was doing things. Cube Vision employed a lot of black folks, made a lot of movies, and these are things that even in this space, it's hard for us to get to that place and go, oh, okay, we can organize and do da 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 too. On every level, it has to be his. It can't just be the overvalued man. It's got to be the regular man. It's got to be the hood dude. It's got to be all levels. And that, I think he's just starting that and knowing black people are looking at him. Young black men are looking at him. His children are looking at him. And he's just like, if I don't try to do something to make it better, what was the purpose of all of it? Because that is it. Because we know, we've watched. If you got enough money, you kind of have a voice. At least with the people you're trying to speak to. And his audience is still in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s to 50s. You know what I'm saying? Even 60s. You know what I mean? Cube been around a long time. So,
Yeah, but
I
you don't.
appreciate.
Sorry. Go. No.
Okay.
Go.
I'm done.
No, I was just saying you don't start off with money. Like, and this is the thing. It's like, I think people like to see the finished product. So it's like when you talk about someone, especially
that's not what I'm saying though.
I know that's not what you're saying. I didn't say any of that. I didn't. I'm just saying most people just see the finished product. And the fact of the matter is he came out of nothing. He and he got himself in a position, like, even like doing the films and all that, he got a PGA. You need to be certified to do certain things. Like when we see certain things going on, like in the background, people might not.
He wasn't an actor. He was picked. He was a gangbanger. He was.
So who is he? Who is he picked? Who is he picked by?
He was picked by what's his name? Singleton.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier. So, but Singleton gave him a message. So yeah, I mean, it translates like that. You obviously have to have that transition. But he was one of the only ones that picked it up. Like there was many rappers in his generation that didn't do what he did because they had the opportunity and chance, but they didn't because at the end of the day they couldn't. And they didn't have the capacity to do it, but he did it. Like, he literally
But why do we care about those who didn't make it instead of the focus being on those who did make it and what they're doing with that?
Because it's important. Nah, it's important. It's important to understand who doesn't make it, because what you're going to actually realize is there's a higher population rate in terms of those who don't make it. So then when you get an Ice Cube or any sort of figure that actually stands out, that means something to you, you need to appreciate them. And I think we're living like in a depreciation age because everything's so damn fast and so quick.
Well, I don't know. I disagree, because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have still the people who pay to go to movies, the people who go to concerts, the people who still are fans, and so on and so forth. So it might not be right around in your circle, but we also know that just because we don't see the other men in his team or women in his team, that doesn't mean that there aren't still rappers from that era out here doing community things. That has always been the case.
All right, well, name some.
They just do it. Well, why? Why do I have to name some? Ludacris was
because
one. Nobody.
So okay.
Ludacris was one. Yeah, he was one. He gave back to his community. He connected with Pepsi to do the different things where he lived. And nobody knew about it until later. I mean, I guess that's not the point. The point is that he's showing all these different sides of him. And as he's grown, he has still allowed people into his life to a certain degree by showing it. He has been showing it. So I mean, it just is now. I think it is time for us all to kind of take a look at how can we assist with making things better where we are. You don't have to go far to do anything.
Well, you do need to go far. You do need to put in the work, and you need to graft, and you need to like really put your head down. And sometimes just
everybody doesn't work like that, though. Everything does not work like that.
Everyone has the opportunity to work that hard. That's the thing. It's like we can say that everyone can't. They do.
They don't.
They do.
I said that everybody does not have the same opportunity. Come on now. Stop that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, they do. Like, listen, who are you talking to? Like, come on. Like, it's like, I've come from nothing. So I appreciate the fact that everybody does. It's not like I've come from a family and I've had parents and I've had grandparents and I've had this, that, whatnot. Come on, I'm still here. So it's like if I'm the like the example, then it's like, well, yes, you have had the opportunity. Everything. I'm an example for thousands of people. I've got bodies on me. Like, so at the end of the day, it's like when you're saying like people don't have the opportunity, you have people that literally get on boats, get on planes, go to other countries, set up their whole business entity.
Hold on, Simon. Let the sister finish her point because I want to get back into this video.
Oh, sorry, bro.
No, go ahead. It's cool. I'm good.
Okay. You sure, sister?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
continue this, y'all. Let's get into it.
No, I'm good.
Excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah. I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central. You were successful at a young age. You have dignity. You say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. I don't know what it is, but, several of my, I had a movie called Barbershop,
I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know.
On Oprah's show.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's.
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know.
Wow, you see them talking points?
That's something that I would love to find out, but I can't tell you.
Go ahead, Simon. Bill.
He said God revered. Wow, you see, so like, Oprah's in the hands of the pockets of the people, okay? So it's like, oh yeah, now, what you saying? Oh no, but she's God revealed. Like, why would she do that to you? It's like your Ice Cube. It's like, wow, give me a break. Like, nah, this is what goes on. Like, just be prepared when everyone hits their 10K or whatever you're doing. Just be prepared, man, because this shit's going down. And it's been historic, and that's the funny thing.
Okay. Sister Chocolate, you got anything you want to add?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Because I know, because I will say, I'll add this. I know who Tucker Carlson is, like his longevity. Like, this dude started at MSNBC, then got fired, blah blah blah. So he's full of shit anyway. It's not about him for me. It's about Ice Cube, and he using whatever platform he can to get his message across. And I respect that. I respect that hustle.
I see in the chat we have opposing views on Tucker Carlson. Okay. Gotcha. I'm glad that y'all sharing that. You know what I mean? And yeah, so Sister Chocolate, like I told Simon, whenever you want me to stop the video, I'll stop it and you can make your point. So let's continue, y'all. Let's get it.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll let you know that. Thank you.
You know, there's a single thing that I've
You're welcome.
done or said to her.
Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah. Do you think it's political or do you think it's deeper than that? I mean, you're not like a right winger.
No.
You don't even seem that political.
No, I'm not really. I'm pretty much, just want to do right by the people, So if that comes through political means, that comes through the private sector, wherever it comes, I'm down to work with whoever's down to do something right for the people.
So
Okay.
I remember reading
You
you
can pause
say
right
something
there.
along the lines of, I didn't vote for.
Please. That's exactly why I said that. He is using whatever platform, and I get it, because sometimes that is how it is going to have to be. Because we know, like we were saying earlier, intellectual, the they bullshit has to stop. We already know who it is. And regardless of what we do in this country, we will have to work with our counterparts in one way or another. And I like I said, I gathered that is what the point of it. Not that he care about Tucker Carlson. He is using it as a platform. Young men watch Tucker Carlson. Just want to add that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I won't stop it again.
No, you're good. It's a reaction video, so stop at any time.
For Trump. I'm not a Trump voter. You actually attacked Trump at one point, but you were willing to meet with Trump. Do you think that crossed a line?
I think some people didn't like that, but I think it's idiotic. Enemies meet.
Right.
They talk. I'm pretty sure there's some communication between Russia and the Ukraine right now. Somebody's on the phone talking to somebody, trying to come up with a solution. So we just got to talk. That's the only way we're going to work this out. I know when the talking stops, the fighting starts. A lot of people, they, think I'm a, Republican. I'm a right winger. Just because I was willing to speak to the Trump administration, and I was willing to speak with the Biden administration as well.
Have you?
One guy in the administration, but it didn't go anywhere. It was basically a, take my temperature kind of call. We'll get to it. But they.
Now I want to pause there, because a lot of people are telling them not to talk to certain people. But how can we have something change if we don't talk to the people who are in charge of making change, who are talking to people who are passing the laws, who are passing the different amendments and different things in our Constitution? How can we not talk to them if we don't want people to change? We got to talk to the people. It's a part of the game. You know what I mean? Y'all can agree or disagree. I'm here for it.
No, I think that's facts. I think people's asses get too heavy, and they prefer to just sit on their bums and just view shit and not actually move and do something. It's like you have, as much right as the next person to actually go into these rooms and, communicate with these people, and same way they have been in their positions. It's like, how did they get in their positions? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like they didn't just, it's like waiting for Santa Claus or something, and this needs to be addressed. We need to move quickly with this as well, because it's like, what's going on? What's up, Flow State? What's going on is people are just sitting on stuff and just commenting all day long, and it's just like, okay, but when are we actually going to make some movement? It doesn't take that much. It's like, I've already said, okay, let's move, and it's like, you're going, okay, I'm going to listen to what you're saying, but I'm just going to sit back and just watch what happens politically. It's just like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you need to move, like, if you want to move, or, stay the hell out of the conversation and just sit back and chill and, do that thing. But wow, it's crazy. And, salute to Ice Cube, because at least he's actually doing something.
Sister Chocolate, anything to say?
No, you can keep going.
They never got to it or never planned to. Matter of fact, the guy left the administration. So, after talking to him for a year or so, he was gone, and then, we were left really with no one to continue the conversations.
What do you think of Biden?
I don't think he's given the people who put him in exactly what they thought they were going to get from him.
But his most loyal voters, according to the polls anyway, are black voters, particularly black women. Mm-hmm. And those numbers don't seem to change. So no matter what happens or doesn't happen. So do you expect they ever will change?
Whether they become independents and not vote for anybody who's not bringing it. It's like people want your vote. They have to do something to earn it. If they don't earn it, why are you going down there and pulling that lever?
Because the other side hates you. That's the pitch they make. We may suck, but the other side hates you.
You're supposed to dance with the person you brought.
Yeah.
And the person that brought you to the dance, you guys are supposed to dance together. And if that doesn't happen, you got to go find another dancing partner before the night is up and the music stops.
What do you think of Kamala?
Wow, that's a very interesting perspective. You got to dance with who you came with the party with. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody that checked in. You know what I mean? Salute to Flow State. I see you. Salute to Dramo. I see you. Also salute to Lady E. You know what I mean? I see you. I see all y'all. I see your comments as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to read some of your comments, man. You know what I mean? Just, out of respect, how we get down. Salute to my homie, also DJ Witch Doctor. What's going on? Yes, we are cooking. And everybody's welcome to come up. This is a reaction video. You're welcome to come up to share a reaction, whether you agree with Ice Cube or not, whether you're a Tucker Carlson fan, I don't really care. I'm here, man. I'm reacting to this, you know what I'm saying, because it needs to be talked about. All right? Is Ice Cube being targeted by the powers that be? Okay, we're going to really get into this. So, Dramo says, I haven't followed much about what's been going on with him, but every time I see something, they are making it appear he's anti-black. Wow. Know what I mean? Lady E giving her her greetings and salutations. And she also says, Dramo says, I don't think the people voted for Biden to get Trump out. Okay. I see that. That could have been a tactic as well, right? They voted for Biden just to get Trump up out of there. I feel it. Know what I mean? She also says, but trust me, it was an aggravating election to vote in. Oh yeah, it definitely was. Yes. It was kind of like which devil. You know what I mean? Yes, Sister Jacqueline, I'm listening. Why was it aggravating for you? I'm listening.
Because I was out of state, so I had to buy. Oh no! Was I? Yep, I was still out of state, so I had to mail my vote in. So the whole controversy about counting ballots and just the fact that democracy is on a small island right now, what we call democracy. And so I agree with a lot of us did vote to get him out. It wasn't that we were so crazy about Biden, and I don't understand, just to put this out here, that little shot about black women, that's because we vote. Y'all talk about us and say we don't do nothing, but when we say we care about the community, then it's we show y'all that. But because if you check the majority of voting, where it was close, we got a lot of women and black women got a lot of people elected that needed to be in place. Now, did we want everyone? No. No, I don't have any love for Biden whatsoever. He was instrumental in the Reagan years and the Bush years. He wanted to be president, and the only way he became president is because he was vice president to a black dude. So it's like, we know the game. I don't know why people think we don't. We know it. It's there. It's a pissing contest. But Donald Trump was doing things that were causing people to lose their lives in the background and in the foreground. And so that's why, for me, I feel like then black men need to start voting, and they need to start encouraging each other to vote. That's why I say mobilize. If you are unhappy with what is happening here, mobilize and change it. Stop complaining and blaming it on black women. Mobilize with your buddies and go on and do what you got to do. And I don't understand, because now they're not holding weapons at your head when you go to the voting booth. Now you can go vote. And so I just think that, like he said, you know, it would make more sense that we were independent. However, we know the truth about that. That independent number is not big enough, because it's the Democrats and the Republicans who have been standing fast. We would have to change it from within. And so that's why I've watched a few of his interviews, Ice Cube's, and I do understand it is by any means necessary at this point. So I'm done. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Want to take a call for the pause. Say a salute to Miss Charlene Marie. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, she says the only way to care about all humanity, the only way to truly bring peace, the only way to overcome perversion is to all stop across the world, hand in hand, across the world at the same time. Facts. That is facts. That's the only way we're going to get things done. Okay? We can't be lazy about this. We got to be true to this. Okay? Not new to this. Okay? Now, you know what I mean? Draymond was saying, mommy duties, I'm going to chime in as much as I can. But for me, it's like Biden was pandering. And Trump, I mean, I don't know, he was entertaining as hell. Okay. But that election was a shit show. I feel you. She said, then the whole they had to recount the votes a billion times. Blew me for real. Yeah, that was crazy. But I would say January 6th was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Shake my head. Simon's also a comment in the chat, said the original O'Shea Do Jackson. Okay. All right. So yeah, man, let's continue this. Let's continue to build, y'all. Let's get it.
Kamala Harris.
I mean, obviously she's a great politician to be able to become the vice president of the country. I don't know how effective she is at her job.
What's your view of the police at this point?
It's the same, you know. It really is, you know. It's like looking at, like, what's your view of the military? Like, they're the military. They're always gonna be the military. If I asked you this in 1946, you'd be like, they're the military. Yeah. So it's a fraternity. It's an organization that does things a certain way, and I think their philosophy sometimes is detrimental to the people they're serving, because I think cops have a win and make it home philosophy. Win whatever battles you have in the street, make it home at night. And that's actually the most important thing. And everything else, people's rights, doing things the right way, you know, being totally fair and square all the time and not, you know, being a little aggressive, you know, all that comes second to win the encounter, make it home at night. And you can't really fault somebody for thinking that way as a police officer, but that's the philosophy. So everything else comes second to that. So guy might not care if he violated your rights. He's going to win this encounter. He's going to make it home tonight. And that's all that matters. And sometimes I think that's what we see is an organization hell-bent on winning and not a fraternity or organization hell-bent on upholding the law and doing everything right.
Let me take a pause there. That's a big thing. Supposed to be protect and serve, right? So
yeah, no, they weren't even. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. System protect and serve what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's really the thing. So I think we see that and we read that and we think, oh, they're supposed to protect and serve us. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? You want to put your life on the line based on that? I don't think I will. No, I mean, let me get into some of these comments real quick. Marcus says, Kamala Harris crazy how she's not in prison like certain other politicians. Okay. Giving a shout out to everybody on the check-in. Definitely. Dramo says, Kamala panders too. She's only black for votes. Next year is going to be a shit show again. Watch how much pandering happens again. She says, Dennis as a black folk kind of fall for it too, sadly. Yes, we do. They get the celebrities involved in all that. Yup, they be showing commercials and all that. You know what I mean? Interrupting your show, showing you commercials. You're trying to watch something. You see a commercial with it. You're like, man, I'm just trying to chill and watch my show. Like, what's going on? She said, they protect and serve themselves. Facts. Sister Chocolate, go ahead. My bad.
Build something that is violent and ran on violence, because that's the whole fraternity of the police. That was how they, taught each other and believed that this is how they continue. You have that mentality. But when you look across the board, everyone, when they find their tribe or they feel they find their tribe, this is why we don't have a national database for police officers who commit high-level crimes against citizens. They won't put one in. Right before, I always mess up his name. He passed away. He was a senator or House rep, I believe. And it was a bill that was going to do all of that. But because we did not have enough Democrats to vote it off, the Republicans threw it away. Because it would have made police officers have to get psychological checks. If their mental health was in danger, they needed to be let go. There's no other job in this country that I can take a person's life, beat you up, steal your money, do all these things to you, and still, because of my union, I'm only going to get a slap on the wrist. So yeah, I agree with. I feel the way I did in the 90s as a young girl growing up about the police, and I still feel the same way because it hasn't changed at all.
Okay. Salute to Lady Phoenix. Lady Phoenix is on the check-in. Salute. Much love. Dramo's agreeing with you. She says facts. You know what I'm saying? Simon, you have anything you want to share, brother?
Yeah, I mean, just to Chocolate's point, the funny thing about the world is there's order, and I know like most of us don't like to hear that shit, but the fact of the matter is like what you're speaking on, like with the police bill, there's been certain incidences that's gone on over here, and they're going through that, like with we have certain police forces and this whatnot. It's not, you saw, I don't know if you saw the riots and all the rest of it, what's going on in France and all the rest of it. There's a lot going on. So like that's being amended, and the laws originated over here, they get translated over there and vice versa. Sometimes it just depends on what the hell goes on. But the thing is it's the cooperation part that matters. So if you're in tune with
what the laws are, then you can understand how that's going to work, and then how it's going to be translated to wherever you're at. Because like I think that's what's missing from a lot of people in a lot of places. Like they're disenfranchised of what their rights are and how they can cooperate with whatever's around them and take advantage of that. And a lot of the time the teaching comes too late. So they witness they witness stuff that they don't want to witness stuff, and then it has all these repercussions. But yeah, no, that's what you've been speaking on. That's coming. That's actually coming. Is like I can literally tell you that.
But it shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. Like I agree in that respect that we have allowed that to be too common. There are more of us in this world than there will ever be. If we're going to be afraid, fine, be afraid. But I guess my thing is, even with knowing your rights, even with having money in this country, even with abiding by the law, it doesn't matter. We're subhuman still in 2023. So that is where it shouldn't have become common. But of course, you're only going to feel like you can fight for so long. And I know people want to kumbaya it up, but that we're beyond that. Either we get loud and we say something and we do something about it, and all of it goes together, then fine. No, none of us are all going to get together. Come on. I apologize, no disrespect, but there will always be chaos. There will always be people trying to take or press or something in some part of the world. However, me living in this country, there is a huge need for change. And I don't know how long our community can withstand no one doing anything. So I'm just passionate about it. I'm not, I'm not upset. This is just how I feel when it comes to these type of conversations, because it is about, we already know if it wasn't the obstacles in front, if people weren't moving the goalposts, if this wasn't always an issue, if people weren't caring about whether or not our community is so focused on what's between our legs instead of no education, no communities, no safety. Because again, if people knew the laws and was really doing what they needed to do, we know that if we migrate somewhere else within the same state, in the same country, that as long as you got enough numbers, you can have your own police. You can have your own fire department. These things aren't hard to get. Yes, is it something that a lot of people probably wouldn't want to do? Maybe. But it's like, that is what we have seen. Just to Ice Cube's point, he grew up in South Central. South Central had nothing but middle-class Black families in the 50s, in the 60s. And when that changed, Black people migrated back down south. And the Black people that were left is what we have now. They migrated because it was becoming too dangerous. And you know what one of the culprits was the LA Police Department. So I guess it's such a long history, and it's such a painful history because it's still going on today. And I hope he does more interviews wherever he go. I might not like Tucker Carlson, but again, how many people will he reach just being on this show, good or bad? So I'm mute up on that.
That's a fact. Let me get into these comments, and this time I want you to chime in. I'm gonna keep the video going. So Sister Marisa, upholding the law, LAW, land, air, water. Our sovereignty right given by God to rule over. The straw man is our puppet that we believe and that requires us to participate in this false economy. Facts.
I agree with you.
Man, super facts. Lady Phoenix says, in all honesty, Democrats and Republicans are distractions. Yep. And exactly as Marcus you have to always assume certain things have you to join certain establishments. That's a fact. Marcus is giving a shout out. All right, Lady Phoenix says, shout out to Henrietta Lacks, famous for getting not enough money from the hospital and labs for stealing her cells and DNA. Yes, that is definitely a big thing as well, y'all. And Marcus says, I agree with Lady Phoenix, but sometimes you have to choose the more logical side, more than emotional, pander and learn people like sheep type of side. Facts. And Sister Marie said, our rights and money mean nothing. Man, talk about it. Simon, go ahead and build, man. What you about to say?
Oh yeah, that comment about, things meaning nothing. Everything means everything. And the thing is, it's just like, it just really depends on what, people are comfortable with, I'd say. Like, if you're comfortable with your environment, most people, especially when you get to a certain age, they don't want to maneuver. They don't want to change. They don't want to see something different, because they're afraid. Fear is something that is a big deal, which is played upon in every community, like not just the black community. So if you could get past that one, then maybe and you're willing to get your feelings hurt for a second, then you might learn something, because we have to pay for everything. Like, do not think you could get a free game out here. It don't work. Like, I am fully aware that I pay for everything. And people don't want to pay for shit these days. They're just like, oh, I want to see how I could get something for free. And it's just like, nothing's for free. If I'm having a conversation with you, I acknowledge that I'm paying for that shit in one way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean that it needs to be monetary, and this comes down to the point I bring up a lot of the time about currency. It's one thing or another. But yeah, we need to get our heads wrapped around this, and then we can start building with each other, because I think when we start having an honest conversation and go, okay, well, for me, I want to do a black bank. You get what I'm saying? But I can't build with black people who don't know money. And I'm not saying black people don't know money, but we've had like real problems with it over the last couple of years. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for now.
We have black banks.
Hold on, Chocolate. Hold on 1 second. Let me get to you some comments and let you build. Miss Marie says, unity across the world is the only thing we've never tried, so maybe we should try it before we knock out. Facts. She also says, people are too comfortable in their houses and Gucci sweaters. They are too afraid to sacrifice them for the greater good, and that will always prevent unity. That's a fact. People just always love to buy stuff and get stuff, and I like nice stuff too. Don't get me wrong, but not at the sake of us not being united. Excuse me. She said, the understanding we are all one is missing. Facts. Salute the Big Wig Slaps in a building. Big Wig, what's going on? Sister Chocolate, go ahead and rock out.
I guess I don't mean to be the opposition, but here's the thing. It's not that we haven't tried being harmonious across the world. There are people who are, and there are people who are not. If we're going to do this, then let's do this. We know that there are people out here in different cliques and different groups at different levels that have control over the things that we do. We are not this group, this individualistic, I grew up out the trees by myself. If someone hadn't created something prior to you, see, anybody that's living at this point, it's already been here for a while, right? We're like 200 years old and plus, right? As far as a government, as far as a country, we're still one of the newest countries. We're the youngest, I believe. However, and to your point, of course, the value is given by humans. So if we know that, then why don't we apply that to the larger picture? These are other human beings making decisions for our lives. The people that go into these offices every day in the state, city, county, national government are making decisions that are affecting us now. How much mortgage you pay, how much rent you pay, how much of your food is, how much your gas is, electric, water. There's not, I just stop. Like, for we are the only species on this planet that pays to live on it. It's the most asinine thing to me.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that.
Of course, it's a reason for everything. But what I'm saying is, regardless of it having a reason, it has gotten too comfortable. Okay, so you want to buy nice things because that's how it's been presented to us. If you value those things, that's fine. Where I think, as far as trying to get Black people on board with anything, is at this point, it has to be, what are we offering them? Because that's all we get all the time. It's someone selling us something, selling us on an idea, selling us on an ideology, selling us on whatever. Some human being who has the biggest mouth and the biggest broad, or the most money, is out here using people, paying people to say whether they believe in it or not. Because why? We value money, because that's what the only currency that matters outside of power. Now, somebody will give you some money for some power, or they'll be willing to forfeit the money for the power. But however, we live in a country where they have to have both at all times. So until we start taking care of the things that are under someone else's control, how are we going to think that people who are trying to just survive every day is going to be focused on changing the community? It's a lot to ask, and I think it's a little unfair, because there's Black folks out here doing the business, the trash man, the lady at the DMV. All of these people matter. They keep what we have going. The grids across the country, the aquifers where you get your water when you turn it on at night and you take a shower. And it's just, we have to start easing people into going, okay, this is actually safe. This is actually something that we can do. We have control at least on this. And at this time, it more than any time ever, this would be when the chess move needs to be made. And I guess it's just, we can't ask all of this of Black folks, but then they've never gotten anything from anybody. So let's just give it to ourselves. Let's give it to each other. Let's use each other's skills and abilities to make the things that you like. You like nice furniture? Okay, let's teach or pay the Black man to run his furniture company. Because he might have been a felon, but this brother can make some hella fine furniture. And if, like, for instance, I get questioned a lot on these spaces, especially when it comes to business. And the one thing I do know is that talent is also a huge part. And if you're willing to see a person and see their talent, and then okay, we can make some money later, but the talent is there. They just need a break. All of us do. It's been a lot. You know what I mean? And it's not I don't mean that, oh, you need to give your money away or stop shopping at Gucci. I don't care if you shop at Gucci. But if Gucci is not paying into the Black community, then we need to stop buying Gucci. Because again, our economic power has gone up to $900 billion. I mean, I get you, Miss Marie, with all due respect. However, the reality is it's already been in it. It doesn't matter what it would be. Rubles, cheese, crackers, it wouldn't matter. If the value is given by human beings, it's going to still have the same value. So I get off my soapbox right there. I pause. Go ahead, sir.
I got to give a shout out real quick to OG Patrice. Thanks for tuning in. Let me get to these comments as well, okay? Let me go up because there was a lot being said and a lot being, rebuttal back. So Miss Marie says, I only mean something because we believe it does. She said, we're not supposed to pay to live. She said, paying to live is the false economy. She also says, we haven't tried to stop all at once across the world, but it's the first time in history that's possible because of technology, and we need to try. Facts. Okay. Lady Phoenix replies to Miss Marie. She says, I agree with you 100%. I'm old enough to have cleaned people's house and was asked if I had a car over 20K. I said no, but they in the junkyard too, just like my 18K a year with my 18K car. Okay. She also said, Miss Marie says, value of things of fake monetary value is like same as worshiping false idols. Wow, that's an interesting perspective. Never thought about it that way, but that is actually true in some retrospect as well. Lady Phoenix says, but don't shop at Gucci if you're asking taxpayers to feed family. Facts. Miss Marie says, faith. Yes, gotta have faith, man, for real. Lady Phoenix give a shout out to OG Patrice. OG Patrice gives a shout out back to Lady Phoenix. She says, hello, beautiful lady. So let's continue to build on this video. Oh no, go ahead, Simon. You have something to say. My bad. Oh yeah, one more comment. Miss Marie says, if we all stop, there's no BS to do to keep the false economy rolling. That's a fact. If we stop putting our money into certain things, yes, it will definitely make an impact. A huge impact. Yes, it will. Simon, go ahead and build, brother.
Yeah, cool. I gotta go after this, but you'll see how this rolls out in this video. And everyone's entitled to their opinion, but some things are just not gonna go away. I mean, we're in a certain type of situation where, I think what's going on to an extent is, an ideology war more than anything. It's like, some people will step up and go, okay, what can you do? You got this idea, but the work doesn't want to be put in, or the work can't be put in a certain type of way, or it needs to be explained because the education wasn't there. And I don't think it's anybody's fault as such, and I think we keep laying blame at people's feet and going, okay, it's your fault, or it's your parents' fault, your grandparents' fault, or this, that, or whatnot. I don't think it's anyone's fault. But I do think people are afraid of risk, and I think that's the biggest thing we're facing right now. The risk factor. Like, people like to be comfortable in one shape or form. So they'll just go with what they feel most comfortable with. Although they know that potentially they can do something better and greater. So we'll see how this plays out, I mean, but salute. I gotta go. Shout out to Intellectual Soapbox. Thanks for having me on. It's been a great conversation. Shout out to Chocolate. Nice seeing you here. You take care of yourselves. Take care. Bye.
Salute, Simon. Salute. Let me get to these comments real quick, and I'm gonna continue the video. Ms. Marie said, the only reason there's any value in currency is because we believe that it is. When money is being printed daily, it means nothing. Okay. She also says, so we all stop to unite and remove all false values or beliefs that money will change things. Wow. Okay. I'm liking these comments. Miss Marie, if you feel like you definitely want to come up here and share your point of view, definitely feel free to click the link. It is in the chat. Okay. Sister Lady Phoenix says, Miss Marie, don't let them know you know that. So this is a good night to Simon. Sister Chocolate, anything you want to say before I continue this video?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. So.
All right, let's get it.
By the book, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just the nature of that fraternity.
Maybe of organizations.
Yeah, is they come with a philosophy, and you can try to buck it if you want to, but more than likely they're gonna get you out the way and stay in formation.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. It instead of, and I, please don't take any disrespect. However, I understand what we would love to see in the future, but the present is this. It's not about how much money you have, it's what you're doing with that money and what you know is available for you with the money in hand, right? Like, I didn't grow up learning that you could purchase land and you could homestead. There was a point in time in this country not that long ago, I want to say like maybe it stopped in the like later 90s. You could get free land across this country just as long as you homesteaded it. We want to separate these things like they don't all intertwine. If we had a black insurance company that went out and assisted people of all levels in the black community and got them insurance policies, I'm gonna tell you, police brutality would drop. Because who owns the policies? They don't want to have to pay that out. Insurance companies don't want to pay that out. But let's just say if you did it to a white insurance company and you got licensure and started, boop, here's some insurance. Something happened, blah, 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 blah. Especially in these places where there's high police presence, high gang presence, a lot of shooting going on, blah, blah, blah. Now, I ain't going to say that them killing each other may or may not happen. That's everybody. But would the police be so quick to take the lives of our children and our men and our women if there was monetary value attached to it? Because, see, the insurance owners are going to call the mayor. Those are the levels we're talking about. Not at the top where Ice Cube is, but where we are, eyes on the ground. We see what's going on. We know what's going on. Our kids are not being educated. Going to college, it's a toss-up. You either gonna go in debt. Well, of course. I mean, but you know what, Phoenix? People are always gonna do that, right? That's just life. There's always, these are traits. You know, these are just traits, and everyone has them, men and women. You know, it doesn't matter. You have traits of either you care or you don't care, or you're indifferent, or it doesn't really matter to you because it's not affecting you in that circle. But it's just like why the movement of the Black Panthers and the movement of the different Black unifications and over time the men that we still keep talking about, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and so on and so forth. However, the things that they were going through then, we're not going through now in the same way. Like, that was face to face. This not just online, not just cancel culture. We still face, you might disappear even now in 2023. But I ain't gonna get on no rant. Go ahead, sir. I'm
No, I know you're passionate. So militant. I know you are.
I'm a militant person. So let me pause.
No, it's all good. I want people that's militant, non-militant, in between all that. Come up, definitely. Salute to Lonzo Hall. Lonzo Hall, you've been watching for a minute. Definitely Bill Brother, and I'm gonna get to the comments. Salute to you, bro.
Salute, bro. I'm one in the building what the sister was talking about because I took that personally. Not in a bad way. But I am an insurance agent, right? And it's very difficult, sister, as one who actually knows how this stuff works, because there's a couple of things. First of all, things like redlining still exist up until this year, damn near. There's a recent article about a case in Georgia So the type of insurance is also what matters, not just getting insurance. And unfortunately, that's what happens. A lot of us get licensed and then we get pushed towards the wrong thing. I'll give you a brief example. I was back in 2013 with a company. One of my sales managers asked me what I wanted to do. I explained to him I wanted to start selling annuities. He was like, no, don't sell annuities. Annuities are terrible right now. They're only paying 4%. The reason why is because his white ass was making $20,000 a month selling annuities. And if my black ass got in and got good at it, that would have cut into his bottom line. So what often happens is people in our industry end up getting mistrained, right? So only, I think it's 5.7% of licensed financial professionals are black. I learned this from something called the CAAFP, which is the Conference of African American Financial Professionals, which is sponsored by the American College of Financial Services, which is helmed by a black man, the president of it. So the other difficult thing is when I come to spaces, you can ask Mr. Best, Intellectual Soapbox. Everywhere I go, you could be talking about whatever. You could be talking about the Gorilla Glue in her hair, and I'm gonna be like, yep, fuck that. Listen, we talking about some insurance for y'all black folk right now, because outside of just dying, right? This is the problem, that it's marketed to us as dying, as death checks, as when you die, somebody gets a check, right? And they teach us all these other financial instruments that sound nice, but they're really not that good. You see up there in the top right, it says death certificate. That's cool, but that's what death insurance is, right? But things like life insurance, we can actually go to the community and say, hey, listen, you've got all these politicians buying up things. If you go to Google and ask, how did Walt Disney start Disney World? Because he took a loan from his life insurance, right? I had to talk to a brother because let's talk about some real things that happen in our community that we need. We need things like collateral assignments. This is shit these crackers, these Peckerwoods ain't teaching us, right? Excuse my language, right? But this is things they aren't teaching us, right? I went on a panel. I don't know if you know who Big Dice is, Intellectual, but he brought me up on his panel because he was like, yo, I ain't never heard this stuff about insurance from somebody who's from where I'm from. Bro, dude was talking about somebody who went to jail and needed to get, bailed out, collateral. So you had to use something that was at least worth $15,000 for collateral. And what do we usually hear about dudes doing in the hood, Intellectual, when they need to get bailed out? Let me use my auntie house as collateral. Let me use my mama house as collateral, right? So I said, yo, bro, you niggas is running around here as fake ass gangsters. Oh, the ops put $50,000 on my head. I'm gangster. How about you be so gangster that for $20 a month you put $1 million on your own fucking head? That's real gangster. But anyway, let's get back to this collateral assignment. So did you know instead of putting your aunties or your mama or your grandma house up for risk with $15,000, something that's worth $15,000 or more in collateral, you could use a permanent life insurance policy that you've had for at least 2 years. Then when your dumbass go get locked up and you need $2,000 for 10% down of your collateral, and you need something to use as collateral that's at least worth $20,000, you got, let's say, I don't know, $100,000 face amount death benefit, then that's obviously worth more than $15,000. You can actually collateralize your fucking life insurance as opposed to putting your family at risk when your happy ass tries to dodge jail. Excuse my language. I know people always talk about, oh, you shouldn't say fuck. Well, listen, I say fuck and I'm professional. But what's fucking worse? The fucking conditions we live in or me saying the word fuck? I think the fucking conditions. Excuse my language. I'll pause there.
Nah, yo, you cooking. And make sure y'all follow Alonzo Hall, all right, on YouTube, all right? He's giving you more game on YouTube as well, okay? All right, let's get it. Sister Chocolate, go ahead. I know you got something to say. I'm listening.
I do want to say this. When I made the statement about the insurance, I am privy to how that works. Thankfully, my grandfather was a man who taught us that you need to have these particular things in place. I have had to borrow from my insurance before, so I am aware of that. And I wasn't inferring that it's only a death certificate. What I'm saying is that if they had, to your point, insurance on them, on themselves, on their families, so on and so forth, that is resource. When the number crunchers and the people who decide who gets what and when, but again, these are insurance companies that are not owned by us on a large enough scale that that money can move like that it can be explained and educated. And I think a lot of us, yes, we are able to get online, or we're privy with it, or we grew up with it, but there are a lot of people who are still not educated in the ways of how technology has changed. And I'm saying that anecdotally, because I remember for years somebody was always calling me an auntie, a cousin, somebody, and I'm working on their computers remotely. And this wasn't even popular, knowing that you can remotely, get on each other's computers, especially even in the 90s. That wasn't something people were like, oh, okay, you can do that. Da, 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 da. Well, I was privileged to do those things, and not because I grew up, with money, but because I grew up in a place that allowed me to be the community activist that I am now. So it's like all of these things matter. However, where I go when we talk about community is land development. So for me, when I hear you say you're in insurance, the first thing that goes to my mind is, okay, well, we build him an office where he's available for this community. Bam, don't charge what we know other people would charge, so that he can educate or have enough space to maybe do the things that he wants to do. That's how my brain works when I meet people. So
I get it. I love that.
Understand, I'm not underestimating. What I was saying was that, again, if we started taking steps in those directions, utilizing it, but we have to also be fair that Black people have been ran over the coals. Older people have been cheated, scammed. We've had people who have come into our communities across the country or maybe locally, and they are charlatans or liars, or they doing some weirdo stuff. So it's like, I get that we need that connection. But the first things first is that we have to build trust with our community, especially those of us who are wanting to see better and bring our skills to that table.
I wasn't directing anything that I was saying towards you. I
just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
So my fervor is this, right? Because a lot of what you're saying I concur with, right? But being an almost 20-year vet in this, right, with especially other brothers, it gets frustrating because, the first thing I do, hey, brother, let me tell you about this insurance, what it can do for you. Man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. And that's what you run. I mean, if I may put an article in the back for you, sister. Sorry?
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to your point about why don't they want to hear it, though? It is because we have been told that, we have had these particular people in our neighborhoods or around here, and our grandmamas and aunties and mamas and cousins and friends be like, don't trust that. They just trying to do this and do that. We hear that even now,
Oh, yeah.
So I think that, and I sound like a broken record. You and I are meeting for the first time, but there is a necessary of community and safety for us to build that trust to re-educate our people. We don't have a safe place to re-educate, even online, right? So there has to be, the same way we talk about what's in the background, that's what has to happen. And I will say this, and I'm only being silly and funny. Maybe you should just approach women because we will laugh. You might want to just do that first. Go to family, go to the women, and I'm promising you that will change. My girl sells insurance. Believe me, I understand exactly what you're facing. You know what I mean? Of course, it's just like anything
It's
else. You can hear
hilarious.
that. Yeah. But
Well,
yes,
let me give
I'm
you
gonna.
some examples, right? See,
Yeah.
what I do, so my dynamic is a little different. The reason I got into insurance, 2008, 3 days before Mother's Day, I got shot 5 times in front of my mother in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, right? So I have a real passion for this, right?
Yeah.
I tell the joke I'm 25 cent because I got shot half as many times as 50, right? But
Okay.
the you gotta have some lightheartedness with it, right?
Of course.
However, when I talk to people, I talk to a lot of guys who are quote unquote street dudes because that's apparently all black men ever want to be, in my age range, which is 45 and under, right? It seems like we at least our entertainment tells you that all we are is drug dealers and sex workers because that's all I ever hear us talking about is being drug dealers or sex workers, right? Um, so it gets frustrating because in these boardrooms I really worked on Wall Street, right? My first office was 100 Broadway. You take two lefts, the New York Stock Exchange is right there. My next office as a stockbroker was at a company called EJ Sterling at 39 Broadway.
Yeah, Alonzo Hall, right where the bull is at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right where the brass bull is at, right? And I used to get terrible black jokes. Some of the black jokes that I used to hear were, "Hey Bob, what's the difference between a black man and a pizza?" "I don't know, Steve. What?" "Oh, well, a pizza can feed a family of four." Ha 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 ha. So shit like that really gets to me when I see black men not trying to get it like me. I had a fucking nigga who's 48 years old yesterday asked me for $75 so he could get a half an 8 ball of cocaine instead of when I've been telling them, get with me, get this insurance license, and let's make some real money. I'm not bragging, but in the last 2 months, I made $40,000. In fucking 2 months ago, in one transaction, I made $28,900. Right? I don't say that to brag, but you can make fucking drug dealer money. I tell these street niggas all the time. You want to make? I know niggas who've been selling cocaine since I was 16. They ain't sold a kilo. But if you go to Google and type in the word Colombian cocaine life insurance, you will see that fucking in December 10th, 2002. Fucking 5 Colombian cocaine cartel members got indicted for hiding $80 million of drug money in life insurance. But yet I hear dudes talking about I'm the hood El Chapo every other day. Right?
It is unfortunate that we have that sector of black men as well. And I'm not saying that there aren't. And to what Phoenix said, yes, I mean, of course, you're gonna go to everybody. The reason I said that, and I apologize if anybody was offended, but the reason I say that is because women have a tendency to be the ones to push for certain things like this.
Yeah, that's security. That's common.
Exactly. However, it has come to the conclusion now we're uncomfortable with calling those things out, and if we gonna have it, let's have it. And we know that this is true. We know that there is a apprehension. One, a lot of the street dudes you probably speak to, how were they educated? What was the school like that they went to, whether it was the high school, middle school, elementary school? Maybe there's some learning disabilities, and that's why they don't want to do certain things. And I come from a perspective of education because it's like there are so many layers to our community. And I think, again, if we are comfortable enough and honest enough to want to touch those layers, there are people who want that assistance or that kind of guidance on every level. Look at all of us. we've learned from someone else, right? We were taught in school. We sat next to the same people or however, and then we grow up and we take the knowledge, and some of us do something with it and some of us don't. So I do believe that you probably have an audience out there that would more than likely, but I think that when we talk about networking and coming together, and like to your point, how can I network with you when I'm trying to compete with you? You know, why am you making this kind of money every month? Okay, I would be a dummy to be like, oh, what I got to do. But if it becomes too overwhelming, I'm stepping out of it. I'm going to come up with excuses. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. There's another.
No, it's all good. It's all good, Sister Chocolate. It's all good. It's all good. I'm glad that you're building. Got to get to my man Grizz from Grizzly Bear Productions, Access Entertainment. Grizz, man, share your point of view. You know about Ice Cube being targeted and everything else we're talking about, man. Let's get it.
Real quick before you go, Grizz, Chocolate, I put the link in the back for you, sister.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, Grizz. Go ahead.
No, it's good. No, my brother, all love, bro. It's good, bro. It's good. First of all, I want to say shout out to everybody in the panel. My sister used to Major Facts, and my dude. I'm so sorry, my phone's kind of messed up. But what's your name? I'm sorry, I said it. What's your name again, my dude?
Alonzo.
Alonzo, like what you're talking about, how people how drug dealers are doing this and doing that, and then you got other people who are doing it, doing insurance legally. I'm like, yeah, I've actually met a lot of people that's like that as well. But going about Ice Cube, because I've actually seen that interview, and I think since day one, Ice Cube has always been an outsider. I feel like even personally, I feel like Ice Cube has always been an outsider because he's the type of person where don't ask me a question if you don't really want to know the answer. And Hollywood, and plus me researching about the industry, me researching about all the actors and writers and even music producers, so it's that I've actually, and this is the industry that I'm working on trying to get into. And Hollywood was not made for black people at all. And there's a lot of actors who actually can say that as well. And I actually feel like he is being targeted because Hollywood is going to single you out, and I think he also said that he was also been asked to join a club, and he's been joining a club, but in order to join a club, you got to do this, you got to do that, and just like how Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, what is his name, Kevin Hart. Just to name, you gotta wear a dress. And then Martin Lawrence. You've seen how he's changed in the industry. Like there was a award ceremony that I was watching, and I'm like, bro, you should be like, I'm like, what happened to the old Martin? What happened to him? You know, walling up. But I'm like, people change with time and stuff like that. But it just goes to show how the industry will drug you, make you feel stupid, make you feel dumb. And
I got to put you back on that a little bit.
You go ahead.
And I appreciate your stance, and I don't completely disagree with the 95% of what you said, right? But because I've worked in acting myself in New York. I was with New York Casting. And, yeah, I've been on a bunch of stuff. I was on Person of Interest. I was on a bunch of Hollywood shit, HBO, bunch of shit, right? Okay. But the thing about it is the here's why I think Ice Cube and a buddy of mine said it best a while ago, and this is one major thing that I have the issue with black men. What is this man's name? Because it ain't Ice Cube. Right?
And it's O'Shea.
It's O'Shea Jackson. right?
Yeah.
So that one thing as black men is something that we need to start taking seriously. I'm tired of fucking monikers, right? It's cool to have a moniker when you're 20, right? But we're 40, 50, we're trying to do things, right? Imagine, you guys, just imagine this, right? Let's go back into the Cuban Missile Crisis. And Fidel Castro was fighting with JFK, right? And he's like, instead of his name being Fidel Castro and he's saying Viva la Revolucion, his name is Cheesy Bread, right? Because how dare you call me by my government name? Everybody from my hood calls me Cheesy Bread. Guess what wouldn't have happened? Cuba wouldn't have been independent because nobody would have taken him seriously, which is, I think, unfortunately, what's happening with Ice Cube. We have to look, even people like Ludacris, 50 Cent, and even The Rock have understood that, especially having melanin, that they've had to do things, right? You don't see, it's, what is it, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? You can keep your moniker, but don't run around like that. If you want to be taken serious in the realm of where real men are. Now, the other thing that I noticed in this space, and then I'm gonna let you go, bro, is that men have to realize this. If you really want to come and have a seat at the table with the power players, you must be a married man, because you must have something of consequence to lose, and that is a family.
Right. Oh.
So I'm pausing.
Oh. I know what. So I just to tell you this. I am married and I have one child. And so yeah, I am married and I do have one child, and so like, and also too, like, because even though I call myself Grizz, but when people ask me what my name is, I tell them my name is Quentin Harris. You know, wait, hold on, son. Sorry, I'm doing my son right now. But yeah, like you know, all my close friends call me Grizz, or some people who may like the name call me Grizz, whatnot. But I will also tell people what my government name is. Unlike Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen, that's not really his real name either. And I just feel like, and just like how you said, I feel like people having a moniker trying to change the name just to look good, or just because I don't like my real name. I'm just like, come on, bro. I'm like, you know, you don't really have to do all that. But yeah, I just feel that Hollywood, but like me personally, and I've literally done a lot of digging. I just feel like I feel like Hollywood really wants to try to put you in a box, or they'll tell you, you know, you gotta play ball, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and you know, stop, that's enough. But yeah, but I've actually come to some conclusion that, and also too, when I was a security guard, I told a lot of people this. I was a security guard at one time, and they had a film noir thing going on, and I found out that the film industry started in the Bay Area. So I am aiming for Hollywood, but I'm not at the same time. I really want to start, and I want to restart the entertainment industry in the Bay Area, but make it a little bit better than Hollywood. If I don't know if that's a real thing, but I just want to make sure that there's no stigmatism. There's no stop sign. Sorry, I'm dealing with my son right now. But yeah, I actually want to make a better entertainment industry in the Bay Area. I just want to stop right there.
Don't apologize, brother. You got life to live. We understand.
Definitely.
Yeah,
let's get back into this video.
Like young one.
Let's get back into this video, y'all. Salute to Johnson.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see you on the check-in. You know what I mean? Thank y'all for sharing y'all point of views, y'all. Let's finish this video up, man. And whenever y'all want me to stop the video, tell me to pause. Let's get it.
Do you think that it's harder to be a man in America now than it was when you were a kid?
Yes. Saying what you feel, being yourself. is what they call toxic. You know, we shouldn't be called toxic for our instincts and for, you know, I was born this way. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we be ourselves? We were born this way too.
So there are some groups, like if I
gotta pause it right there because that's a big
sorry.
thing. Like you know, us being men and us actually representing positive masculinity, right? That's something that's being shunned. That's something that's being, you know what I mean, that's pushed to the side. So now when the brother's talking about, yo, I actually want to, you know, actually be a man that's actually being a real role model, is being ignored. Go ahead, Sister Shaka, talk about it.
I'm not a man, of course. However, I'm still trying to figure out who is stopping men from being men. Because what it makes it sounds like is, oh, well, what I'm doing or what I'm saying is bad, and someone somewhere is stopping me. Who's stopping you? Men are saying whatever they feel online, whatever they feel offline. I don't see anybody being hauled off to jail for saying the things that they're doing. Now, all these social media companies, they are privately owned. So if a person thinks that what you saying ain't worth the risk, they gonna get rid of you. I grew up listening to Howard Stern, right? So I don't know if any of y'all listen to Howard Stern at any point in your life. And this was one of the most, it was everything that, you know, maybe a girl shouldn't listen to. But I find it interesting it's still being talked about. I guess where I'm like, where is it that men are being stopped? Because the majority of the governments, the majority of those in charge, the governors across the country, mayors across the country, like, they're men. Like, so I guess, and I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just like, where is all this? You're being stopped.
I can answer that.
I mean, I think, hold on, let me say this. I think he's talking about just as far as different opportunities that he's been blocked from. Like, you know, The View don't want him up there. Oprah ain't want to interview him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as a black man, yes, he has had things that he wasn't able to do and that he was blocked from. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what he's speaking to. Lonzo Hall, go ahead, brother.
So it's a multi-part answer. Number one, simple and plain, is other men. And what I mean by that is, you almost answered your own question, right? In the sense that there are certain men who are in positions of power and or privilege, right? And hearkening back to something you said prior, especially in this country, you have to possess simultaneously the money and the power. So the people who possess that put stumbling blocks in the way for other men, which is only natural, right? It's kind of why I tell Manosphere guys, look, you know, we can't cry over tissue that we didn't get in high school anymore, because, you know, there is no such thing as this whole, you know, womanocracy. It's other men who don't want you to get their version of Big Booty Keisha, right? Plain and simple, right? And so they put things in place that will impede. There are, if you will, committees. So, and this is not a racial thing. This is across the lines. It's what it is because there's been access now to so many luxuries, if you will, in life. There's not a clear distinction between the haves and the have-nots. So because that line is skewed, people get confused, because having accoutrement is not the same as having power, right? It used to be back in the day, if you had a Mercedes-Benz, you know, you were in a certain level. Now, you know, you can go get a 20-year-old, you know, Barabbas, Mercedes. A Brabus Mercedes is a completely custom top of the line above AMG Benz. That's what's called tuned by a completely separate company. So if a Benz normally costs $100,000, to have a Brabus, it will cost you $200,000. So, but now people can go buy one from a used dealership and pay with Klarna Afterpay and have horrible piss poor credit. So the measure of a man is different because now you're expected to do certain things that you couldn't do 50 years ago. 50 years ago, a man could own a house while working at a grocery store making minimum wage. You can't do that today. You know? Shit, you can't buy a gallon of milk off of an hour's worth of wage half the time.
That part.
But I'll pause there. I'm sorry. I be going on my...
No, it's good. No, that's real information. Bro, you major good, bro.
Yeah, you cooking. You want to hear this. Salute to Sister KMA. She says, good morning to you too, sister. Definitely, if you can't pull up. We're talking about, this brother targeted. Bridge, go ahead and chop it up. We can continue the video.
Go do it.
Oh no, what I was gonna say was, yeah, I'll give some of that to that. I agree with some of that. I still am trying to figure out if men feel oppressed across the board of all cultures in our society in America, then why not mobilize to change it instead of making it about what you want women to stop doing? And I'm not asking anybody to answer that part. I'm just saying the mobilization of all these complaints can at least be started. Like I'm not sure what access has been stopped where, men now feel like they can't be men. I also don't see how, if manhood is in question because it means different things to different types of men, then wouldn't that be where y'all would see eye to eye on as men, like, okay, well, this is what it is.
Because those who want to colonize and oppress our people never want the black man to shine. Never. They never want us to shine. They always want to keep us underneath them and making sure that we're not united with you as our queen. You know what I mean? As Sister Shahrazad Ali said, you know what I mean? The greatest asset that the black man has is the black woman, and vice versa. So if they keep us disunified, right, and they keep the black man underneath them, then yeah, we will never be able to really fully be a man because we always have to battle with our oppressor and our colonizer. I want to get a real quick. I want to continue the video, y'all, and I want us to keep building. Go ahead, Grizz.
So just what you said, just like how you said, because I you know what, I can actually give a little bit of example. When the Barbie movie came out, a lot of people said that after the Barbie movie came out, everybody was wearing pink for some reason, and also too, it's like, and also too, so. I'm gonna be a little bit diabolical right now. I'm about to go a little diabolical right now. So between the movies, the music, everything we see or hear, everything's being brainwashed to us, literally. Because like some of the artists who used to be one way, now it's like, what happened to your music? Why are you acting this way now? And just like how I say, like in the music industry or in the film industry, and also like people are being brainwashed to do certain things, and also and it's also in society as well. It's like you can say this, but there's always somebody around the corner that's listening to what you're saying, and will go into the government and like, okay, no, this person said this, person said this, and a lot of people call me what is it? Because like I've been called a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I am. But government is always listening and trying to change the way society is, and so just like how you see there's certain clothes nowadays, it's for men and women at the same time. It used to be men wear this, women wear that. Now it's these clothes are for men and women, or you'll and then it's a lot of trans thing going on. It's a lot, but like I said, honestly, it's a lot of brainwashing stuff going on. It's a lot of it's like brainwashing in especially in the industry. If you're trying to get in the industry, you're gonna have to literally watch who is around you, and people may act like you're friends, but they're really not. And I'm gonna leave it up from right there.
I'm gonna just go real quick to Sister Chocolate. So it would be like what ended up happening. Imagine Archie Bunker being around today, right? A lot of this stuff he says and does wouldn't fly. Why? Because people like go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to let you know he was around. That's Donald Trump. He was just here. They are here. Tucker Carlson is one of those people that ignite hatred with their conversations or say things that are unnecessary to hit at men at a core. Like it's, this, and I apologize, not to be rude. I guess I'm just saying, just so that everybody understands, I get why it's not mobilization. I just don't get why after all this time, if the same complaints have been going on for years, then shouldn't men want to get together and create what they can with the technology and what's available now? I guess I'm that one. I just don't understand that. Regardless of the laws,
you definitely won't get black men to do that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Why not though? Why
because
not?
I'm more concerned with Big Booty Keisha than I am with the community. Big Booty Keisha is the community
right now. You're not worried about it. Intellect's not worried.
No, I'm not. No,
the gentleman, exactly. So a black man can do it. It doesn't have to be 1,000,001. It's just enough that can make those moves. I'm sorry. I just am like, I don't know how long you could keep saying that these are the same things as ailing black men are, and then say, oh, well, black men aren't going to do it. So why complain if you're not going to do anything about it?
I understand. I mean,
I guess that's where my confusion comes in. That's all. Not to be facetious.
Well,
I just
no.
wonder about that.
It's a great question because these things become circular, and you have to hear this type of stuff daily, right? But the thing is, what happens is it becomes tiring, right? So, like, I'm in financial services, right? My mother-in-law in 2020 retired from Morgan Stanley, right? So I says to my mother-in-law, hey, do you know any black advisors who, work at Morgan Stanley who you can link me up with? Maybe I can deal with some clients who are too small for them. And she says, yeah, but those guys are all old like me and they're retiring, right? So as a helping hand, I was like, well, great. If they're retiring, that means they're likely trying to get rid of their book of business. And what better way to help a brother out than to pass down, some of their book of business, right? And as opposed to doing that, they'd rather another young brother start from square one. Like I said, and what it takes is us just keeping and running our head against the wall. So what happens is, this is more of a venting session, but the actual action is taking place likely offline. You may just not see it, right? Like I belong to an organization called 500 Men Making a Difference out of Brooklyn, right? We, donate our time. We work with, Eric Adams, all this different type of stuff. A lot of the stuff I do on the ground, you don't see on camera. You just, on my page, you're going to see me doing, basically a running commercial for insurance. Right? But a lot of this is, it seems like, me and Intellectual and Brother Grizz will be the only ones here, but we need more help. I ended up having, I'm a managing associate at my firm, right? I have 8 agents who work under me. It used to be 10, but now it's 8. Of those 8, 4 are women, 4 are men. When it comes time to it, the women who are all black, they come to every meeting. If I text, hey, look, we got a training meeting, this, that, and the third, they're there, right? They attempt to put business in. They bring me on the appointments. The black men sold me a dream. Yeah, man, I'm down for this. I'm down for the cause. I want to work. We could And then, they disappear. And okay, maybe insurance isn't your dream. Let's say your dream is to be a barber, like my cousin who has a barber shop. So I told him, hey, brah, because Chocolate, back to like you speak about this insurance, it gets into politics, and then I'll stop here. But, I told my cousin, hey, have you ever heard of Alonzo Herndon? No. Well, Alonzo Herndon and his partner started barbershops. Then they went into real estate. Then they died, the richest man in Atlanta and North Carolina, for opening North Carolina Mutual, which is a completely black-owned life insurance company, which is currently in what's called rehab, meaning they're going broke and waiting to be bought. So they're not selling any new policies. They're just servicing their current policies. And then another company called Atlanta Life Insurance, which is what Alonzo Herndon created. Ironically enough, we have the same initials, right? Alonzo Hall, Alonzo Herndon. But he also... his company is around now, and his company does something called reinsurance. They reinsure companies like Macy's. They reinsure companies like MetLife, which is a ginormous multi-billion-dollar company that we as a people don't know about. We as a people need to know more than Ice Cube. We as a people need to know about Harlem Capital. We as a people need to know about Ariel Investments. Did you know Charles Schwab for the last 20 years has partnered with Ariel Investments to communicate with the black community? Yes, we knew about Charles Schwab, but we didn't know the reason Charles Schwab did it was for Ariel Investments. So again, we as black men got to start taking ourselves more seriously. And, shout out to Grizz. I wasn't speaking about places here, but when we're going into political arenas or arenas like power, and we're going to talk to people like Tucker Carlson, instead of being Ice Cube, be O'Shea Ice Cube Jackson, so that maybe some people will take you seriously. And I'll pause there. Let's get back to the video. I'm sorry.
I say I'm trans, and people say that's great. You were born that way. We affirm you. But if you say I'm just a dude with male instincts, you're not affirmed. You're attacked.
Yeah, I mean, everybody doesn't really have to affirm you. If I wake up and say, I feel like a pigeon, and I want everybody to treat me like a pigeon. Some people may say, whatever, Q, we treat you like a pigeon. But some people may choose to be like, dude, no. That's your world.
Yeah.
I'm not part of it. And I have to be ready for that. It's a big world out here. Everybody doesn't have to adhere to me.
That's called narcissism, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, seems like you're trying to bend the universe to your will, and it don't work like that.
We've been talking almost all day now. You haven't mentioned race a single time. You've mentioned economics, rich and poor, a number of times. Do you think that we overplay the role of racial conflict in American life?
Yes, I think race, it takes up too much space. There's people that we all have in our lives who are same race that we can't stand. And there's people in our lives from other races that we get along with way better. So it's not about race. It's not about color and gender and this and that. It's about who do you connect with? Who do you vibrate with? You know what I mean?
I
Who's
do.
on the same wavelength? Who wants to be the same kind of person? Who wants to do the right thing when you want to do the right thing? That's who you connect with. So I think a lot of people make a lot of money off of the racists fighting against each other and bickering. And they the ones who push it in our face all the time that we're separate. And
Does feel like there's more of that, doesn't there?
yeah, it seems like it's like you're stuck in a bad movie and you can't get out. Like you can't find the exit and it continues to play on the screen and you're just running around looking for the exit. And this bad movie continues to just haunt you day by day by day by day. You know, that's what we're caught in. A never-ending, winless battle of, you know, of race and color, and we're worried about, you know, where you from, and, you know, hip hop. What's great about hip hop, like, it was a saying in hip hop, early hip hop. I think Rakim coined this phrase. You know, it ain't where you from, it's where you at. You know, and it's so true. It's not about where you come from. It's about where you at right now.
I'm not imagining that this stuff is being pushed on us, right?
No.
Much more than in, say, 1986.
Yes, I think so. Because in 1986, you had movies and television, and it was all scripted, and we knew this is a scripted show. But I think now you have so many so-called reality shows that basically push the same thing, but in a reality-like setting. So, you know, you'll watch a movie on race, okay?
Hold up there.
And you flip the channel now, you'll watch.
So, you know, it's crazy that he kind of touched on what I touched on earlier in terms of the haves and have-nots, right? Because what happens is in this country, when you reach a certain level, you realize why, for example, at certain levels, Black people are ostracized so much. It's because the majority of Black people are at the low level socioeconomically. So it's easier for the rich white folks back in the day, so instead of having people come at them, the poor white folks, and do like January 6th, right? They just had the poor white people mad at the poor Black people. And the reason I say that, if you look, I've been doing a lot of, since I bought my Benz, I've been doing a lot of research, more research on Adolf Hitler, because I know Benz was his favorite car. And his birthday is 2 days after mine, and he and I share the same initials as well. And he was, there were a lot of Germanic Blacks that got erased from history. We also got put into the same internment camps and ghettos as the Jewish people. So you just don't hear about it. Mainly because a lot of us who kept our freedom were forced to fight for the Nazis in the World War II. But I say all that to say, it's really, it seems to be a class thing. Because when you go to, like, if you look at history, during the transatlantic slave trade, Britain was invading 7 continents simultaneously. Right? So, you know, I mean, it is like a construct, if you will, right? Like, you get what I'm saying, Mr. Best? Like, people don't, when you reach a certain level financially, You don't get bothered by certain shit. You don't get harassed by certain shit. Like, that's why you'll hear quote unquote uppity Negroes be like, oh, I never faced that because of where they're at in life, right? So, like, they might live around open-minded rich people who are white. So they don't have to worry about racism or stuff or people being like, oh my God, what are you doing in my neighborhood? The people who are like that usually ain't got shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
that's why they mad that this like, look at George Zimmerman. What really did George Zimmerman have? That's why I say he was talking about race and the difference between haves and have-nots. But I'll stop there.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think people have to definitely be understanding of that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely thank you for everybody for chiming in. I'm going to go to KMA's comments real quick. And thank you for Lady Phoenix. We definitely see your comments. Definitely appreciate you. KMA says, this is definitely a battle between good and evil. Unfortunately, the cat is out the bag about too much. That is a fact. You know what I'm saying? People know what's going on. People know what's happening. But do we care? And do we understand how these things really affect us? Right? I got a few more minutes because I'm doing a part 2 to this. Okay, this ain't over. All right, this is not over. I'm doing a part 2 of his Ice Cube being targeted. I'm doing that very soon. I'm doing that this week, possibly tomorrow. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, it will be tomorrow because what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm definitely getting this in on Thursday. Maybe Friday I might get it in too, but it's probably gonna be more likely either tomorrow or Friday. I'm coming with part 2. So this is definitely not over with. I'm not gonna get through the whole video tonight, but I'm definitely gonna finish this video. There's definitely gonna be a part 2. But let me continue some more of the video before we get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to 9 o'clock my time, midnight, along the whole time, and after that we out. So hold on, y'all. Let me get more into this video.
Watching somewhat like documentary reality show that's highlighting and magnifying race and status and where you belong in this country and where you don't. And we're highlighting the bad guys here. We're highlighting the good guys. It's always really showing controversy and pitting each other against each other. And with the reality shows, controversy sells. So they're not showing people getting along. What they want to get to is the fight, the conflict, the argument, the throwing of the bottles, the turmoil, the differences.
Does that bear any resemblance to your actual life as someone who lives in this country? Like, do you have racial conflict in your life day to day?
Probably, most of them are unseen. I'm not going to say I encounter racism. People know who I am. Police know who I am. Everybody knows who I am. So I probably get a pass on a lot of things that friends, family members, people I associate with, people I love go through all the time because they're not Ice Cube. But I've had an insurance company drop me because they didn't like my point of view. Things like that.
Are you mad about it? Are you mad at people for their skin color ever in the course of a day?
I'm not mad at people because of their skin color. I'm mad at people because of what they do and the things they choose not to do.
Right.
There's a big problem in this country with the financial banking system and Black people and our access to capital. I know that when it breaks down, we have, 13 to 15% of the country trying to live off of half a percentage of wealth, 0.05% of wealth. So that's an issue. That's a problem. We have to have access to capital so we can do cool things for South Central. If we drove past one of those lots, and a guy that lived there wanted to put a store up. He just couldn't get along because of his zip code. Now, guys from outside the area, they can come in and they can get along and put that store up, and that has to change.
How do people live in this state who aren't making a lot of money?
I mean, things are so expensive. Houses that used to cost, like my father, I think he bought his house 47 grand, maybe. And now it's worth 650.
The house you grew up in?
The house I grew up in. It's worth $650,000.
And that's in South Central?
South Central, yeah.
Huh. So the middle class has shrunk in this state?
Without a doubt, or left. You know, they definitely shrunk, and we have a lot of people leaving the state because they just can't afford it.
If you were running the state, wouldn't that be a big concern for you?
Yeah, I think it's a major problem because you not only have people leaving, you have industries leaving. You know, Tesla, they just put up a plant in Texas, so you know, they left California. And many big companies have left California.
I've noticed something weird. I've never been a big hip hop fan, but I've met a bunch of hip hop performers.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty open-minded, way more open-minded than, say, your average college professor. I wouldn't have expected that. Why do you think that is? You know, college professors, they all want their jobs. And if their staff or administration is saying, hey, we think this way at this college, sometimes they understand what that is and they stick to those guidelines. Rappers, you know, we're free spirits for the most part. Some of us who are not locked down to these crazy contracts, but we know doing things the way they were done in the past hasn't really gotten us as far along as a people as we have wanted. So we tend to break the mold. We tend to be disruptors. We tend to not wait for an invitation to the party. We tend to either come in through the window, you know what I mean, or kick the front door down. But we're coming to the party. So that's how we've actually been able to gain success, because everybody wants you to be in your little hole. Everybody wants you to stay in your lane and all that stupid stuff. And as soon as I hear that, I'm out of my lane immediately. But you should stay in your lane, don't you think?
No. If I would have stayed in my lane, I wouldn't be here. I would still be.
Gotta pause on that
and
part.
That's exactly it. Where they was talking about the haves and the have-nots, bro.
Yeah. You see how he trying to Jedi mind trick and try to tell him to stay in his lane. You see that? And that's what they do.
Yeah.
They do. They will sidebar and kind of tell you, well, you know, why you calling? It's like back in the days when it used to be a segregation. Why you calling all the trouble, boy? Why you calling all the trouble? Why don't you just go back on your side? Nah, no.
Yeah, go back on some track, boy.
I want to eat. I want to eat in a nice restaurant too. I want to live in a big house. I want the big car. I want nice things. So I want my family to be taken care of. No, I'm not getting back on the other side of the street. No, I'm not doing it. Go ahead, Alonzo. Hold my back.
Nah, you good, bro. You was cooking. I was just saying, you know, a lot of this comes from the haves and have-nots, bro. And it's exactly like you were saying, bro. Like, he did try to do it. Literally, what the sister was saying earlier, because that was some subtle jabs at Ice Cube's manhood. Like, if they was in the streets, Cube might have smacked them, right? Like, you heard kind of the way your house in South Central is worth $650,000. Interesting. Like, what? What you trying to say, son? You know what I mean? Like, so I see what she mean about the little subtle disses, but stuff like that is what I meant about weaker men, right? Tucker Carlson is obviously a weaker man physically than Ice Cube. But if Ice Cube were to smack him up, Tucker Carlson has at his beck and call dudes who are stronger than Ice Cube, but he has the money and the power that the dudes who are stronger than Ice Cube won't be able to beat him in tape. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Any insurance needs. You need a tax shelter, come see me. But go ahead, bro.
We got 4 more minutes. Let's see how much we get through in 4 more minutes. Let's get
in South Central Los Angeles, you know, not following my dreams.
So you're not surprised that rappers tend to be more open-minded at all?
Not at all. Not at all. Because they want to go for it. They want new experiences. They want to carve their own path. And, you know, they're not going to conform. They're not going to conform because that gets you nowhere.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. This spring, word began to circulate in Washington that the House Oversight Committee, under its new chairman, Congressman Jamie Comer, had discovered criminal behavior after reviewing thousands of...
Well, that was it. That was the interview, right? So, man, I ain't got to do a part two. Good. But I wasn't doing part two if I had to. You know what I mean? She said, nah, don't smack him out. But listen, y'all, look, we know that Brother Cube is being targeted, man. We know the powers that be are targeted. We know what's really going on. We know what they are doing. Yes, they. And like Ice Cube said, stop playing, man. Y'all know who they are. So stop playing. Y'all know who they are. You know what I'm saying? And definitely, you know what I mean? Definitely make your voices heard. Make your voices be known. You know what I mean? Let your message be loud and strong. And as always, as the great QB says, be intentional. Lonzo Hall, any last words, brother, before we out?
You already know mine. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.
Salute. And definitely, I just want to say to, you know, to any detractors, anybody who doesn't want to support or doesn't want to help, look, man, ain't nothing y'all can do with me. Just might as well keep them on 8 more than 92 with me. Just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to keep going. I'm from Brooklyn, dog. Brownsville to be exact. Fort Greene as well. That's just going to make me grind hard and move fast.
Brownsville where the grass is green and the Crips are mean.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nothing that's going to stop me. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep growing and keep grinding. You know what I mean? Every time I see a distract, I just think about Mayweather in the gym, just punching that bag. You know what I mean? Mayweather, as you can know, never lost a fight. So that's my mindset. I never plan to lose. So, you know what I mean? Y'all can keep doing what y'all doing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Further on this week, I'm going to cover the great Isaiah Thomas, NBA Hall of Famer. All right? Talking about how systematic oppression is still existing. All right? You know what I mean? Salute to everybody that checked in. Salute to Sister KMA. All right? Salute to Lady Phoenix. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to stay me. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about none of these suckers out here. You know what I mean? I'm definitely staying me to the full. You know what I mean? So with that being said, y'all, I am going to tune out. You know what I mean? I'm going to drop that outro. You know what I mean? Peace and blessings and love to everyone. And we are out.